What do you think sparring with Gervonta Davis did for your preparation?
You know what? I think getting him on the back end of the sparring was more so to make sure the eyes and the focus and everything's there. He is one of the sharpest boxers I've ever been in the ring with, and I'm sure it won't change. It won't change much after being in the ring with Terrence. I would imagine that Terrence will be the sharpest, but that boy Tank is sharp.
The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Wow. Shawn Porter finally speaks on his sparring with Gervonta Tank Davis. He said, Tank, the kid is sharp. We're going to talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Listen, I don't know how you found my video, but somehow, some way, you made it. You arrived at the content. Please help others find the content by throwing a like on the video. It's free, it's quick, it's simple, it's painless, takes a few seconds, and it goes a long way. Reach one, teach one. Now, fight week, Crawford versus Porter. And I will admit, I feel Crawford-Porter will be a great fight. Undercard, pretty underwhelming, you know. It's a pay-per-view, main attraction, the main card, main event is offering a lot. So at the end of the day, it becomes a bit hard for the purses. You know, when the main event is demanding such a high and heavy purse, it's kind of hard to pay for an expensive undercard as well. So we've seen this time and time again, where you would expect the undercard to be a little bit, you know, more solid. But nonetheless, I think Crawford Porter will be a great fight. They did the final press conference. Weigh-in will be on Friday. Of course, the fight's on Saturday. Now, a guy who's getting ready to fight is the guy you see on the screen, Gervonta Tank Davis out of Baltimore. You know, representing his city, be more, where they see more, you know, representing the Ravens, etc. And Tank, he has a last-minute switch with his opponent through no fault of his own. I've covered that, so check out some of the other videos in the past that I've made so you guys can be hip to that. But Tank, you know, it's not surprising to me because I've spoke to a lot of people who have dealt with Tank one-on-one and worked with him, sparred with him, watched him spar from, I'm talking about when he was a kid to now. And they say it's like usually the same thing. Tank's a beast. Tank, you even heard Oscar De La Hoya one time. He was asked about Ryan Garcia potentially fighting against Tank Davis. And he basically said Ryan wasn't ready. No, Tank's a beast. You know, that's exactly what he said. Now add to the list Showtime Shawn Porter. Even though this was a Crawford-Porter press conference and, you know, he got his sights set on fighting against Terrence Crawford, who's a phenomenal fighter, Shawn Porter paid a lot of homage and had some high marks in regards for that kid known as Gervonta. And this is just, it shows you he's a budding star and he's serious in there. Shawn Porter, you heard the clip at the beginning, he says that Tank Davis is sharp. He says, we'll see how it is, you know, with Crawford when I get out of the ring with Crawford. But he says so far, Tank is one of the sharpest fighters that I've ever stepped foot in the ring with. To me, that's saying a lot if you know who Shawn Porter is, because Shawn Porter, between sparring and actual fights, he's fought everybody. Like, there's people he hasn't fought as a pro that he sparred with. Devin Haney, Jesse Vargas, just to name a few. You know, he's also had amateur fights where he beat Danny Jacobs, he beat Alexander Usyk, he fought against Demetrius Andrade, he fought against dude from Boston that just became a cop, the one that fought Andre Ward, Edwin Rodriguez, right? So he's some of y'all didn't even know that, but yeah, Edwin Rodriguez, he became a police officer, so I guess he retired from boxing. So to hear him, a person with the expertise and the veteran skills, amateur sparring and pro give these marks to Tank, it just shows you that Tank's well on his way. Now, Tank has long stated a healthy and focused Tank is a dangerous Tank, and I think that's the era of Tank that we're getting right now. He seems to be locked. I mean, look at the hand speed. He seems to be locked in and fully focused on what I don't know if them paychecks is hitting different or what clicked on. Maybe his age, having 2 kids, or I don't know. You have to ask Tank, but something clicked in him where people are like counting on Tank, and it's like this section of a superhero movie where the superhero Spider-Man or whoever, Batman, they realize their purpose and they realize they got to protect the city of Gotham or Metropolis, or, Peter Parker has to save the city from the Green Goblin. And that's how I feel it is with Gervonta Davis. It's like he now knows his purpose. I'm not saying he wasn't any bit focused before, but he seems like he's all the way switched on, and he's turning up. It's going to be hard. The more he gets seasoned, it's going to be hard for some of these other people in his age group to beat him, especially guys that call him out like Ryan Garcia and say they want to fight. First of all, Ryan Garcia not being active is a major detriment, because Tank Davis has been active. He's fighting 2, maybe 3 times a year. Mayweather Promotions, they're doing a hell of a job. And he's sparring with the likes of Shawn Porter, a welterweight who's challenging one of the best welterweights out there, and he's being received well. Tank Davis, this is not a surprise, because before Shawn Porter publicly made these comments and reacted to sparring, he basically said after our sparring sessions, Shawn Porter he says Shawn Porter, I'm just gonna paraphrase, I don't know the exact quote, but he basically said something to the effect of Shawn Porter knows that I'm the truth. He knows that I'm a sharp fighter. He knows I'm a good fighter, and this is what he said, and this is what Shawn Porter pretty much corroborated. And that's a cute picture. That's what he basically corroborated, that he is a good fighter. So at the end of the day, Gervonta was right. He says after our sparring session, Shawn can vouch for me, and that's exactly what Shawn Porter did publicly. So it's good to see that type of camaraderie, and it just lets me know what I personally already knew about Gervonta Davis from being in the industry and being in Baltimore and just interviewing people that I know, people I know that have worked with him and watched him since a kid. And it's good to see. I think it's good for Shawn Porter. Now, keep in mind, I'm the best in the business. I give you guys the latest and greatest. Before anyone, boom, you see, November 10th, 11:08. I promise you, you won't find any pictures or really anybody that said it, because I got hip to it. Like I said, I heard through the grapevine, Tank Davis is going to spar Shawn Porter. Good on them. Both have big fights coming up. Let's see what happens. Excellent work for both fighters as they gear up, #ego. Now, again, a birdie told me in my ear that they were sparring before they had even sparred or been seen together or done any interviews or anything. And I actually posted this tweet later from when I got the information, because I have other stuff that I was doing. So just know, keep it locked and know where you get your information from. You heard it here first. It's the boy Ego, Mr. You heard it here first, right? So we just gonna keep kicking the latest and greatest. Now, I can't wait for both of these guys' fights. Crawford, Porter is a great fight, and I do like Gervonta versus Pitbull Cruz. A lot of people are hating on Tank Davis. It's not his fault that he needs a replacement opponent, so I'm not gonna fault him. And Pitbull Cruz is basically a similar style, and he's the man up. And you only see this with certain fighters. Oftentimes, a black fighter, a black American fighter, you see this type of angst and hatred from old media, things like that. For example, people blaming Tank that Isaac Pitbull Cruz is in and Rolly's out is mandatory, which has nothing to do, the reason Rolly's out has nothing to do with Tank, nothing he could have done to really prevent some kind of unfortunate situation like that, right? And then David Benavidez just went through the same thing for a different reason. His opponent, Uzcategui, tested positive for REPO, which was on the ban list, rightfully so, powerful PED, performance enhancing drug. And he just had to fight Kyron Davis, who, you know, he was valiant, tried to put up a fight, and he had even less time to prepare for David Benavidez. But at the end of the day, dang, look at that kid. Look at him go. At the end of the day, people, you didn't see old media or the same people that hate on Tank. You didn't see on anybody speak badly on behalf of David Benavidez because his opponent did not make it to the finish line. But for Tank, it's like, oh, come on, step up, fight Devin Haney, which is not even realistic since he was in negotiations to fight his next opponent, Joseph Jojo Diaz, right? And they have different promoters, different platforms and networks. And, you know, truth be told, I don't even know how great the Eddie Hearn relationship is with PBC at this point, because Eddie Hearn takes a lot of digs and shots at Steven Espinoza and Showtime. So why would you think they would try to work with Eddie Hearn particularly on short notice, you know, instead of doing their own thing where they could facilitate a fight in-house, the leverage to pay a little bit different because Pitbull Cruz is not going to command what Devin Haney, you know, is going to ask for a fight like this. So it's just really Eddie Hearn clout chasing and trying to throw his fighters' names in the hat. But either way, I like how Mayweather Promotions has managed Tank Davis, and it's good to hear a guy as credible as Shawn Porter when it comes to the fight game and being in there with the best. It's good to hear him give Tank Davis his just due, which is what I've told you guys in the past. Tank is a beast. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Use my affiliate links. Subscribe to the channel. I'll keep dropping the latest and greatest. And I'm out.